Disbelief. Who are you? Why are you here?
This is the story of two planets. When they collided, this was the equation. N-A-S-A, Orgo Cosmonaut. I juggle words as a giant black juggernaut. Ravage the land like never before. Total destruction.
Welcome to Cosmic Mumbo Jumbo 2. Today's topic will be transformation. Transform, to change in form, appearance, or structure. To change in condition, nature, or character. Transform means to radically change the outward form or inner character. Forms of transformation: mental, physical, spiritual. Going back, reverting into from what you came, same entity under guise. Today, I will speak on transformation. And the first form of transformation is mental. You have to change your mental state of being in order to change your condition. It took me time to understand that once I change my mental state, it also changes your physical state. My mental state came of changing when I found out that there was an alternative to the lifestyle that I was living. And the lifestyle that I was living was called the status quo lifestyle for living in the black community. When I changed my mental state and start being what I truly wished to be, which was an artist, then I transformed my mental state. Through absorbing information, I transformed my mental state. And once I transformed my mental state, I transformed my physical state. And my physical state being transformed, people start reacting to me differently, and I start having different inner reactions with the individuals that I was surrounded by in my community. Now, once I transform physically and I start absorbing information, then I discovered that I was a spirit in a physical body. And when I start transforming spirit, I start realizing who I actually am. And through realizing who I actually am, I start being truly what I wanted to be. That's when I start enjoying my life through the transformation of my being. The transformation of your being changes your association. So once I start changing association, my being was very much more pleasant. My physical being, in the transformation, I start doing the things that I love to do in my life. And I start trying to teach people how to transform. I transform my mental through studying history, mathematics, and science, and art. And I made myself a living piece of art. So I'm going to explain different ways of transforming. Since I am a jeweler and make jewelry, what I do, I take raw materials and I transform them from one state to another state. And that's by taking a piece of metals, of copper, brass, and I start fabricating through filing, grinding, and forging. And I transform the shape and it manifests into a piece of jewelry. Once I manifest this metal into a piece of jewelry, then into the minds of the people it is a thing of beauty. So I set about in my life to transform myself in order to be successful. In the last episode, physically, I was a different being. So I have transformed myself mentally through purchasing clothes in order to change my lifestyle and to change my appearance. And once you look successful, then people take it as success. Transformation is very amazing. It's kind of hard to explain to the, I don't want to use the word common, individuals, people in general. In my first lifestyle, I wore suits, shirts, cufflinks, different style shoes. And once I transformed myself mentally, which was in the late 60s, I became what people refer to as a hippie, and I start wearing the clothes or the style of dress as a hippie. And I start listening to different type of music. And through listening to this different type of music, I learned to deal with other types of people that I ordinarily wasn't used to dealing with. And I start going to concerts that I ordinarily wouldn't go to, and I start going to different communities that I ordinarily wouldn't go to. And by interacting with these people and understanding them, then they was able to understand me, and they was able to perceive me as understanding what they are about. So I was part of this society, and I did in the late 60s what you would call dropping out of society. And once I dropped out of society, I did things that I thought that I wouldn't have time for, like going to the beach, the mountains, and basically creating. And I created an image for myself. I created this here being called Snake Doctor. And through creating this being, I was able to place myself as an icon in my community. And being an icon in my community gave me protection in my community because I come from a violent environment. So through transforming my mental state and then also transforming my physical state, I was able to survive or coexist in the environment that I was in and create things of beauty. I transform blank pieces of canvas into art. I transform materials. It's, for instance, you can take a piece of clay and you can mold that clay into something else. You can mold it into a sculpture. Okay, that's one way that I can make you understand transformation. Or back again to fabricating jewelry, or back again to making art, or going into a blank environment. I transform environments through physical action. I got into a transformation through studying Egyptology, and they have what you call the scarab beetle. And the scarab beetle without the wings stands for resurrection. With the wings, it stands for rebirth. So the Egyptians used the scarab as a symbol of transformation because it goes through a cycle from the lava to the scarab beetle. I am transforming myself into another being in order to enjoy some of the full abundance of the Most High God. I start transforming spiritually. A lot of people think that when you self-realize that you are at the end of your goal, but I found in my life that I am constantly self-realizing, and through each self-realization I'm able to better deal with the situations that I am confronted with. The situations that I am confronted with is food, clothing, and shelter, which are the things that you need to survive in this society. These are the things you need to build a family in this society. So I have to drop out of society for a number of years in order to come back to the beginning of where I'm at. It's very interesting to me that I started off as a revolutionary when I dropped out of society, and to come back as a capitalist. And I came back as a capitalist through my understanding that I need what every man needs in order to support his family, in order to have well-being.